What's up, fam? I just want to bring out some informative information. You know, some stuff I was looking at on the internet when it comes to people that's lonely, men and women. They live somewhere, and they tend to pick up a lot of mental issues. Now, you can judge a person by when you enter into their threshold, which is where they reside at, their home dwelling or whatever. And if it's not well kept, if it's not clean, it's filthy, it's cluttered, they are hoarders and stuff like that. There's something wrong, family. Especially when you dating a person. You want to plan on having a relationship with this person, but you can tell a lot by how people's living conditions are. I've been in places like that. Not well kept, dishes in the sink, food still left on the dishes. Then that when you have that going on, the insects and stuff, they're gonna seek that out. Because their senses are gonna be inclined, and they're gonna sniff that out. Then you got your vermin, you got your rats, your mouses, your roaches, the common denominator right there, because that usually comes first, the roaches, the cockroaches, then the vermin, you know. And they carry diseases, especially the rats and stuff like that. And especially if the female got siblings, offspring in the house, and they get bit by those rodents, if you will, and it becomes an ongoing process and a dilemma. Clinic, bills, debt. It's a mental illness. A mop ain't too hard to find. Detergent, disinfectant, all the stuff that got to do with cleaning around the house. You got to get your elbows, roll those sleeves up, and get the job done. Or you're gonna have a lot of things that is gonna plague you within that threshold. My advice to young people or people in any kind of age bracket: once you mess with these folks or about to mess with these folks, and they finally open their household or wherever they live at, they finally open up for you to come in and welcome you in. If that place ain't up to par, if it's filthy, you better be making other preparations to get out that relationship, because that I'm telling you, 95% out of the time, that's an entry point to that person's mindset and mental illness. That's a mental illness. And it's due to a lack of certain things. They feel as though it's a lack, but it's not a lack. It's a mental problem. I seen this guy. He had like 6,000 books in his apartment. 6,000 books. You shouldn't have seen that apartment. The guy couldn't even walk around. I mean, just total clutter and hoarding. He said half of the stuff he got in there can buy him a new house. Not because he's not even living in the house. I think that was an apartment he was living in. He said the majority of all that material he accumulated, over the time period and years, how long he was living there, he could get him a nice house. You need a library. That's 6,000 books in an apartment. And other material and other devices and technology and stuff like that. Lonely person. That's what he's missing. A woman. No one wants to be lonely. And see, that is another mental illness. When you are lonely, when you're introvert, usually you don't go outside. Usually those people pick up bad eating habits. They get obese because all they do is sit on it. Let's put it where it's supposed to be put. All they do is sit on their ass. Okay, and it's sad. They pick up diabetes. They pick up high cholesterol. Then they just kill over and die. Some of them, and usually they find them within their threshold. Look how many documentaries and shows we've seen throughout the years of people being 6,000, not 6,000, about 1,000-pound men and 1,000-pound women. 1,000-pound men and women standing in the house eating. Food all over the floor. Rats running everywhere. All they do is eat and look at TV in the bathroom right next to them. They don't even move. A couple steps and that's it. That's a mental illness. And all they do is lay on their food and all that stuff that's piled up in their intestines and their gut. It's because that's a mental illness. And you got to identify. See, you cannot stay in the confinement of a building. A building is a living thing. Okay? Also, okay? But if you don't get out and experience life, it can be a prison for you too. You know what I'm saying? Notice how when people leave a house and leave it vacant for, people foreclose and they move somewhere else and that house is on the market and that house stay vacant for a year or two. Notice how nature takes over. Oh, the rat's gonna be in there. All groundhogs, they're gonna find their way in. And then if the people don't take care of the proper maintenance and do, minor checkups on the vacant place, it's gonna be a force. Then nature's gonna take over. And the animals and everything already know that house is not occupied. So they're gonna find their way in it. See? That's the way it goes, family. Because they know. Because they're living things. And they know that house is a shelter for them. But that's the flip side of the coin. See, they in their habitat. That's outside. But they get more comfy when they break in the house when it's vacant. Then they go back and forth as they please. But we are not meant to be in the field like the beast. That's why when people homeless and stuff like that, they usually eventually die because that's not for us. But I'm trying to give you different variations of certain things and living conditions. But when you don't get outside, when you don't get fresh air, when you don't have a proper diet, when you suffer of loneliness and stress, you tend to take on these habits. And that's where the clutter comes at. That's where the hoarding comes at, because you're trying to buy your happiness, and you're trying to eat your happiness. Meaning that you think by you consuming a lot of food and buying a lot of material things is going to cure your happiness. No, it's not going to cure it's not going to cure your stress. All those things, trying to eat all you can eat, drink all you can drink, look at the latest and greatest stuff as far as TV, don't go nowhere, buy up stuff, clutter, just clutter. And you think that's going to change the situation, all you're doing is making it worse. And you're trying to fill a void, but you're going about it the wrong way. When it comes down to it, people, you need someone that's going to be with you and love you. That means man and woman relationship. Man and woman relationship. And a healthy relationship. But when you're lonely, you tend to take on these traits. And that is a mental disease. That's why I tell people, get out here. Experience life. You can worry about the gloom and doom all day, but that's bullshit. Experience life. Especially when you're young. And get things done so you won't have to suffer when you get older. So many of us black folks, we don't complete stuff. We wait till the last minute. That's why we have bad insurance, some of us. We don't take care of our dental insurance like we supposed to. Then we get behind the 8 ball and get all kinds of debt because we're not fulfilling things we need to fulfill in a positive manner. My thing is this, family. If you can help people, you see people, the moral to this video is, I don't care if they cuss you out, I don't care if they get rebellious. If they don't want to listen, then leave them alone. But I'm telling you, people like that, if you can help them, try to give them some help. Because when you got a person, you go in their house and it's cluttered like that. got so much stuff in it. Usually, like I said, it's a reflection on how they think. If the house is cluttered, if they're a hoarder, their thoughts are like that. And those some destruction. That's a life of destruction. Not only they living in bad conditions, their mind is in a bad condition. See? And it usually spills off to the person that they're with, and they end up lonely. See? And they keep on until, something bad happens, usually. Because it's something wrong when you got people, you can't even walk through their house, you can't even sit down, you can't get in the bed, stuff that's everywhere. So you got to think to yourself, why is this place like this? What is these people, what do they really got on their mind? What they got on their mind? Their mind is confused. And you got to ask yourself a question, knowing that you don't live like that, knowing that your place is well kept. Now, what's up with the person you with or about to get with? Be careful, women and men and women, vice versa, of people like that, because they have mental issues. As far as I'm concerned, that is a mental issue. Okay? So, just want to bring you a video, something that was on my mind. I'm out.